wanted to check. So this is brass quartet. So okay, are you guys playing? You're playing Prayer and Alleluia. Is that different than what was? I had you down to play Canzona per Sonare.
Oh no.
Okay, it's not a big deal. I just want to make sure I have the right form.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're playing Prayer and Alleluia. Sounds good. Okay, whenever you're ready.
Okay, yeah.
Excellent work. Thank you all very much for playing. Can I get real quick, what year is everyone?
Senior.
Senior?
Sophomore. Freshman.
All right, so we got the range here. Oh, except for juniors, no juniors. Okay, yeah, so how many times have you guys played in ensembles like this before?
For like us, it's like
This is my first time.
Yeah,
Okay.
I had it last year.
Oh, okay, so this, you get assigned to an ensemble. pretty
Yeah.
much.
Yeah.
So you've done it. So you guys know the unique challenges of playing with a group like this. Obviously,
Yeah.
there's no director. There's nobody to tell you when you're like right or wrong. There's nobody reading the score. You kind of
Yeah.
have to do this all on your own. So this is a really, really great exercise to make you a better musician all around because you have to keep yourself honest. And I can tell you, all 4 of you are very strong players, and a lot of things happen well just because you're all very strong. For instance, you guys blend very well because you all have decent tone quality on your instruments. So decent tone blends with decent tone. You know, there's nobody sticking out with like a fuzzy tone or anything that's really, you know, overly bright or anything like that. I also like the fact you had very solid tempo. One of the things, I'm sure you guys have played with the group where you're like, oh my good lord, somebody's just going off on their own. It doesn't happen here. Everybody's got solid pulse, which makes, that's like step 1. You can't do anything unless everybody's got solid pulse. So, some stuff you can do with this. Now this is a nice piece that you can play, you know, for like if you ever have an event for where they need background music, you can play this at like local churches and things. You know, Easter's coming up, you can get a gig, you can get some money, right? Play Easter Sunday or Holy Week there and make some money. It's kind of nice. You don't think about that when they stick you in one of these groups. But what I would like you to do actually is I want you to play the first movement much slower and the second movement a little bit quicker. Okay, it's a small change, but it's going to make a big difference. Let's start. We can just start at the beginning real quick, and I want to give you guys the tempo. Now we're playing this in cut time, right? That's how it's marked, but it's going to be so slow. You might almost want to think about it in 4. Okay, let's try it here. 1, 2, ready, and. Slower than that. It just makes it more dramatic. You know, sometimes we like to play everything is around, you know, 100 beats a minute or 120 beats a minute, anywhere in there, because that's what's comfortable. That's our heartbeat range and things like that. That's our step range. And then everything starts to sound the same. The other thing that's tricky about a group like this is there's nobody to tell you who has the melody. Right? How many times the band director stop you or the orchestra director say, the melody's over here in the French horn. You guys got to listen. Oh, okay. So maybe if you're good, you're right. Melody's in the French horn. Well, here there's nobody to tell you that. You just got to listen and know. Pretty much everything I say or anything your band director says can be replaced with the word listen. So you could do all these laundry list of things or just really listen. And in a group like this, it forces you to listen. So listen for where the melody is, right at the top. Right? We're going to go slow. 1, 2, ready, and. Where was the melody at the top? Yeah, French horn's got the melody, but this is the thing, it's not band. So you're not going to have the melody for like 8 measures at a time. You're going to have the melody for a measure, and then it's going to get passed around. Everything, since it's a smaller group, everything is more nimble. You can have the melody for a note and then pass it back off. So the melody is probably not the trumpets in unison. Like, we get it. So when it's your time to come out, you might just find yourself those 2 notes are your melody, and that's all you get. There was something else. Oh, dynamic range. We don't have any woodwinds. So if you think of this as like the brass dynamic range, right, you probably only get to use like this much of it in band because you can't overplay the woodwinds, and you have to be heard over the percussion. So you never get to use that low end. Well, here it's just brass. Everybody's got a similar dynamic range, which means you can use the whole thing. So look at where you play your biggest. You don't have to play your biggest without getting yelled at. You can play your biggest. And look at where you play your softest. There's only 4 of you playing. So you don't have to worry about getting varied. When it's soft, you can play soft. Like I said, you're all strong players, so you know the technique. When you play soft, or if you're by yourself, are there any sections you know you're like 1 of 2 people, maybe you're playing by yourself?
Like at the end where the key change. Or like there's a bunch of like solo forte playing, but
yeah.
Or there's a bunch of like solo piano playing where like, for example, like Jordan's playing like 1 or 2 notes by yourself.
So in those sections, if it's marked piano, you can play soft, but you have to keep that air moving. Right? This kind of, we can get away with it in band if you play like, oh, I gotta play really, really soft here because I can't cover up the oboe or something. You know, you have to play so soft that it's just kind of like falling out of your face. You're just like this, and then you get that kind of that sound going on. Here you can have a nice, fast, small air columns. It's kind of weird. You play soft, you almost use kind of a smaller air column that's even faster. It's really weird. It seems like that would make it louder, but it actually just makes your sound more consistent. Okay? Let's do this. Let's look at the second movement, because when it comes to dynamic range, I feel like we actually get to use it there. And this is something that's very common of these kind of older tunes. It's just about,